can certainly make a case for those who are still happily married, but sex isn't that important. And I know for me, I mean, God willing, if we're able to have many more years, as Craig blessed me with, um, there's gonna have a time. You just gave me a bless. You gave me a blessing, so I appreciate it. You said
Oh
having
no,
to
I
be
thought you were talking about something else. Sorry, my
no.
mistake.
You gave me a blessing, and I take it on. I appreciate it, and but I know, or at least at some time it's going to stop. Now look, I train, I lift weights, I try to keep my testosterone levels up and stay healthy and vibrant and whatnot, so I can be as
I can
fit
vouch
as
for
I
that one. I can vouch for that one.
for as
I've
long as
seen the
I can. Yeah,
photos.
as fit as I can for as long as I can. All right. But I know it's gonna end at some point in time. Well, we know that. And certainly we've gone through we've been married long enough where we've seen some of the physiological changes that can happen um throughout the course of a marriage that may affect your sex life. So again, you have that period of life where, when you're married and no kids and you're able to no, hang on. Before I go on, let me also introduce. I'm gonna address him by his proper name, Bear Paul. CBN Tech Talks in the building tonight, and you guys are fortunate. See, I don't have a soundboard like grooming has, so I'm not going to be teasing you tonight with calling out your name and things of that nature. I'm not going to do that to you. But the Bear Paul, the big poobah, is in the building tonight. So before I go
No,
on,
it's Baby
sir,
Groot.
how are you doing? And what's going on with you, sir?
I would say I'm just trying to hang in there. Take it one day at a time.
Every day.
I'm trying my best not to let the inner demon beast come out. So these days I'm trying my best to suppress it.
Gotcha.
Um,
I got a
being
quick.
so being someone is a diehard workaholic, it's kind of like nerve wracking not be able to work.
Right.
Especially I have built myself to be like a machine, meaning there's not a day that I'm not gonna look for opportunity to get extra hour if necessary,
Right.
so I can take care of certain responsibility. But when you're not be able to work for a long time, it's almost like you're trying to calm yourself, but at the same time, try to make sure someone don't trigger you because some people will say the wrong thing
Hmm.
and don't realize how lethal that thing really is. Like
Hmm.
to assume that you never try to look for a job,
Yeah.
but you work yourself to the ground that you never look for the opportunity for a vacation to make it make sense.
Right.
So this is why I'm trying my best to keep to myself more and more because I think people don't know the type of caliber I really am as a man because
Hmm.
how do I put it? I've been on a few other people panel the past few weeks and I'm seeing a extreme level of ignorance. This is why I will I will double down. Certain people are not allowed to speak on certain topic if they
Hmm.
don't have the proper education,
Right.
nor insight, nor understanding of the dynamic of that particular conversation. You and I both know this. We are debater, we are educated people. We debate on the point and the fact of things.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be verbally disrespectful toward one another because if you have a statement that I think is wrong, I will debate you and tell you why your statement is wrong based on the source and facts
Right.
and information that I acquire,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be that way. But I'm not to realize why I see what I see, I hear what I hear. Where slowly but steady, I'm trying to withdraw myself away from uneducated people who should be speaking at all.
Right.
They know who they are. They know my face, but I could care less since I make it clear I'm a black nerd. I do not like to deal with ordinary people
Hmm.
who don't dig deep. There was
Right.
something that was told to me a couple of years back. and about a vision about talking about the church folk, but it is more like the worldly folk. A lot of people are on the beach.
Mhm.
Some people have their ankle in the water. Some people got their knee, but they're not neck deep, going down to the deep area. So I'm gonna keep that crystal clear. If anyone wants to throw a jab at me, they can get under my skin. Let me make it crystal clear. I wasn't born in Brooklyn, but I was deeply raised in Brooklyn. If anybody know Brooklyn, New York, there's a code of ethic. If you cannot take it, don't dish it.
Mhm.
I don't have a thick skin. I got a beast like skin. I can take the distance. But if I decide to destroy your self esteem, I'm coming after your soul. And I'm not gonna be nice with it.
Mhm.
Nah.
Okay.
I'm
All
just
right.
letting the world know. They know who they are. You come at me with the insult, be prepared.
Mhm. I hear you. I hear you.
Because I'm 2026, I already took out the glove 2025. 2026, I'm doing like blood sport. I'm rapping. I want to get back to my old way whereby I have no mercy. I
Mhm.
have no pity. If I destroy you psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I will keep on breaking you down until there's nothing left of you.
Mhm. I hear you. I hear you.
I am battle tested. Not too many people have the same life experience I have.
Mhm.
So I don't wish my enemy to go through what I go through. 'Cause if they did, I don't think they'll be mentally sane.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All righty. Well, I will. Let's continue on. We have more panelists in the back. So my next guest, I want to certainly bring on before we continue with the topic tonight. We have the lovely Alicia, who's in the house tonight. How are you
Welcome,
doing?
lovely Alicia.
Hi, how is everybody?
Hey, doing well. Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there.
That's all we can
One
do.
one
So
day at a time.
I'm
Just
glad
one.
you're here. Glad you're here. Smile on your face, and I love that headpiece that you got on there. It's very nice.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Very,
This is
very, very
something
cool.
when I don't feel like wearing my wigs or something, you
I
know.
heard that. I heard that. You got to still, yeah, you got to still style it up. Absolutely, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Always be profiling. Always,
Yes,
regardless whatever situation that you're in. But I'm glad that you came, and I'm glad you're a part of this conversation tonight. I didn't know who was going to show up tonight because again, we're talking about this idea of the sexual dynamic in marriage and sexless marriages in particular. And I know certain people feel certain ways about that. I was just kind of starting off the show, kind of giving my background story in terms of where sex was as a priority with with me, and certainly where it is now. And and I was gonna, just kind of I like to level set shows. You guys know I love, showing slides and PowerPoints and things like that. I just want to kind of lay the groundwork. So again, we're talking specifically about the sexless marriage, but what really stirred us on was Craig when he talked about his marriage last week. That the one thing that I have to admit that I never even pondered. Well, I guess in a way I was, but I didn't quite take it to where he was, is that you may have a sexless marriage, but that doesn't mean that it cannot be a happy marriage under certain circumstances. And certainly Craig was able to certainly bring a perspective that I had not heard. And then once I started looking up information on this and I started to see other perspectives on this as well. And so, like I said, I stuck my foot in my mouth and said, hey, that'd be a great discussion topic. And guess what? Pete was like, "Oh, I got to work early tomorrow, so hey, why don't you take take the show?" So always be mindful of what you suggest, because again, if you have an idea, more than likely you'll have to run with it. So that's kind of like the tenor of where we're going with the show. And but certainly before I go on, let me just I'm gonna just show a few slides, some stats, just so we can sort of level set, and then we can kind of go and just have a free forming conversation, get everybody's views and perspectives on the idea of sexless marriage. And again, we're not asking anybody to share anything that is too personal. I had to tell my wife before the show that we may be talking about sex tonight. And so I just wanted to make sure that she was going to be good, or that she doesn't get surprised. It's like, hey, you were talking about what? So I just want to make sure that she was good with the idea. But let me share some info, some stats on on sexless marriage, and just to kind of again level set this a little bit. So again, we want to first of all always like to define my terms. I think for me, terms are very important in framing a conversation. And so when we talk about a sexless marriage, by definition, what that is. So again, this site here that I got is the pleasant relation .com, but I've seen this information in other sources, but they were able to sort of capsulize it in a way that was digestible. And again, I
Excuse
love
me, where did you get the idea from?
what's that?
Where did you get the idea from?
Oh, I got it from you, obviously. But but obviously, like I said, I want to just share some information because
Carry on.
I'm sure a lot of people deal with this. So again, how we define sexless marriage by relationship experts is one of two things: either one, that the couple has sex less than 10 times a year, or have not had sex for over a year, is considered a sexless marriage. And obviously, that's generally taken as a negative because of the reasons that oftentimes go into why it is. So you can talk about, the different signs. You don't groom anymore, kids, work life balance, flirtation. There's just a lot of different types. And what I liked here, what they defined is, and again, this might get to where Craig is coming from, is the sexless marriage types. So you have the intercourse less type. Does not mean that intimacy isn't there, but you may not be sexual for whatever reason. Then you have the sexual intimacy less sexless marriage. And then you also have the sexual interest less marriage. And then you also have the poor quality sex type of marriage. All of those would sort of go under the same rubric of this sexless marriage for whatever reason. And again, it doesn't always have to be negative, but these are things to consider. And then again, the things that cause it, again, the libido, low drive, the emotional strings, lack of communication, physical and health issues or disability, and what it can lead to. Okay, the happiness quotient slides, consideration of cheating, less confidence, second guessing your marriage, you lose that intimacy bond. So all these things are very real possibilities that can happen in a marriage where sex is infrequent, and for reasons that um, if people aren't careful, can really lead to a lack of just the relationship just breaking down. Another slide I have here. Again, this one is from the bedbible.com. Just some stats here. They have some really good stats here. So again, 15.6% of married individuals haven't had sex in the previous year, an increase from 1.9 in 1994. 74.2% of sexless marriages end in divorce. So again, it while it's not impossible, it still certainly can lead to that. In the U.S., 20.4 million individuals are living in sexless marriages. Married couples under 30 have sex on average 111 times a year, more than twice a week. But couples who've been married, so I need to be concerned about this, but those who've been together 30 years are on average 35 times more likely to be in a sexless marriage than newlyweds married more 2 years or less. 77% of those in sexless marriage said they want more sex. And the two most important reasons why couples stop having sex is fading enthusiasm and long work hours. All right. So again, some stats that support the topic. So I think I have some infographics here by years married. So basically, this is showing that again, the longer you're married, the more likely that you're going to be sexually inactive. Okay, it's kind of anecdotal, but it's kind of common sense. You have your newlywed phase, and then once you go through the phases of life, sex tends to drop in terms of importance or priority. Here's sexless marriages by generation. So again, typically, again, goes the older you are, or the generation that you belong to, the more likely that your marriage will be sexless based on the generation. Couple boy here. The difference was certainly between married and single persons. So clearly, married people have more sex overall than those who are single. I mean, that's, and again, that was a reason why I wanted to get married because, again, I wasn't going to have sex outside of marriage. But, across the board, typically married people have more, and it's by wide margins by any age group across the board. So the guy who's out there single, living his best life or whatever, he may have more variety. He's still not getting as much by average as the person or the couples that are married. And then again, reasons why, again, it's spread out across the board. There's a variety of reasons, and I won't go into all of these reasons, but there's just a variety why couples stop having sex. But ultimately, it could certainly be a relational breakdown as to why those things happen. But having said that, there are couples who are. This is from the Guardian. Craig, as I'm sure, is very familiar with the Guardian publication. And here's just a perspective from a couple. They've been married over 25 years, haven't had sex in the last 20, but they still claim that they're still happily married. They have a family, and they're still very intimate. They're very touchy feely, and it works for them. And part of the article is basically talking about how how they're going against the societal norms, or people knew that we weren't. I mean, from the outside, people think, oh, they must be happily married, but most people don't know where they are. But nevertheless, they're still able to last and stay together. And we have Craig on the show, who, like I said, I'll give him the floor so you can have some insight on that. And again, the question is, can sexless marriage be happy? And under certain circumstances, just based on the quick AI search, but it potentially could be so if there's mutual agreement, redefining intimacy. Again, just because you're having sex, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're intimate. And obviously, having strong communication is certainly an important factor in why people are able to do so. So I just wanted to kind of show just some of that ahead of time. Again, just to kind of level set the conversation. And so with that, I can certainly open up the floor to Craig, and then we'll go to CBN, and then to Alicia, if you want to give your perspectives, on this topic. And again, be as transparent as you want to be, or I understand you want to keep things private. This is a sensitive subject, so I definitely respect that. But Craig, since you were the inspiration for the topic tonight, you can certainly share your story. Certainly with your wife and your current situation, which I mean this, I really thought it was fascinating, and a lot of us I thought it was beautiful at the same time. So really salute you guys for the type of relationship you have. But I'll give you the floor. You can talk about from your perspective this idea and how you guys have been able to make it work.
Well, our sex life was brilliant. We just you get bored sometimes when you do the same thing day in, day out.
Mhm.
So we found it was easier just to be intimate other ways. You don't need to have sex. Yeah.
Mhm.
We share the bath together. We eat together. We're very hands on with each other. We lay in the bed. It what's the old saying?
Your
You might
birthday
know.
suits and your birthday
Pardon?
suits and your birthday suits.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, we just lay in bed together like that every night. Yeah, but as I said, sex just gets boring if you're doing the same thing every time.
Mhm.
But as I said, we found it'd be better if we just flat out just stopped it and just carried on what we were doing without doing that. There's other ways of enjoying each other
Mhm.
than um, just jumping into bed and doing all the usual bits and pieces.
Mhm.
Yeah, um, like when we first got together, the first 3, 4, 5 years, we literally just couldn't keep our hands off each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um. Uh. Before that, before we got together, I was drinking. You know that, Paul. I told you
Yeah.
that many times. Yeah. I was drinking a hell of a lot. The only reason I didn't marry her for getting that sort of thing. Um, I married her because the woman, I fell in love with her, and also she saved my life.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I've been with her ever since, and I would never leave her.
Right.
I was having a discussion with her earlier on today about, because she's, as you know, she's got a heart problem. She's born with a hole in her heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. They tried doing other things and stuff like that. Having two children, one's not mine, the other one is. Having two children actually put a lot of strain on it.
Yeah.
And I was having a discussion with someone else there earlier on today about, because of the population of children in Europe and the UK and that is really low. I would love to have more kids, but she can't because it'd kill her.
Right.
I was having a discussion earlier on about her heart. I said, I've seen a lot of people, even in real life, physically giving their heart, if they're a match, right? Physically giving their heart to the person they love the most. The child, the girlfriend, the wife, their sister, their mum, their dad. Yeah? Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen a lot of things about that. I said, if we were a match, Nikki, would you allow me to do that for you? She goes, no. I said, I'd still be with you. I may be dead, but I'd still be with you. Yeah? But she didn't want me to do it, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
I would like her to live more of a healthier life.
Sure.
Yeah. Right now, with the way her heart is, she physically can't go out that much. I have to take her to every single meeting down at the job centre, as you call it. Yeah, I call it the joke centre. To doctors' meetings, to hospital meetings, appointments, just say. I have to literally, virtually, sometimes carry her up the bloody road because she literally, the strain on her heart, and it's literally made her out of breath and really made her really tired.
Yeah.
It's just really bad. That's what really gets me. I really want to help her, and I can't think of any other way of helping her.
Right.
Back in my drinking days, I can explain to you, mate. I was in and out of beds, everyone's bed, back in the old days.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you were what they call a Randy back then.
Yeah.
You think I know that one, did you?
No, we should use that same expression over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was an alcoholic. Yeah. Simple reasons I can probably explain to you a bit later off the show.
Sure.
And believing in God, I used to. I'm now looking to fill that hole again with that thing. I lost my faith in God when I was about 16 years old. Personal reasons, which I'll also explain to you.
I know a lot about that. I know all about that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, a sexless marriage doesn't mean you don't stop loving each other and you don't have to stop being other ways of intimate. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's not a scoring thing. You don't have to do that sort of thing anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There are marriages out there that go on for about 40 years and don't even do anything.
Yeah.
And they still love each other, still intimate.
Right.
Yeah, but they don't do anything. David might know it. I'm joking with you, David.
Don't get him started.
I'm joking with you, dude. But yeah, it's not complicated at all. It's just flat out, you don't need it. You really, really don't need it. Yeah, to enjoy each other's company, to be around each other. Yeah, love each other, treasure each other. Yeah, and accusing someone of cheating or thinking they're thinking of other women or whatever, or doing the opposite on their own sort of thing. Yeah, it doesn't phase us. We don't do
Right.
any of it. Yeah,
Right.
we don't need it. We got each other.
So you're saying, so in your situation, so you don't even self pleasure yourself
No,
so yeah, so it's really in
no.
that case it's
But when the day does happen, when we decide to go back to doing it, it'd be fucking amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. But she's my world. Yeah. I don't have much in the world. Yes, we've got kids together. We don't have them living with us, unfortunately. I would love to, but with the situation we're living in, many years ago we broke up. Yeah, we broke up for 7 months, even though we were still married. Her family, her mum and dad, got us split
Right.
up.
Right.
Personal reasons on that. And then when they found out that me and her were talking back again, I was currently living in someone's spare room, and they chucked her out in the street, and the only place she could think of was my auntie's address. Yeah, you know about my auntie, Paul. I put her up in that address, and that address wasn't safe for having kids. All right, the person I was living with, he was a drunk, smoked substances.
Mhm.
Begins with a W constantly.
Yeah.
The fact of him getting drunk and literally goes to the bathroom, he was peeing all over the floor, all over the
Right.
toilet seat.
Right. No,
And he
yeah,
had
unhealthy environment. Got you.
he was unhealthy.
Mm.
But he had a massive skin problem. Wasn't his fault. It's a rare trait, but he had a massive head to toe skin problem. It was he had eczema really bad.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
psoriasis on his arms.
Yeah.
It was literally leaving dead skin everywhere,
Right.
and I mean literally everywhere. The carpet would be layered with it. No way to bring up a kid.
Yeah.
So she had to leave the kid with her sister, and the other one's with his father in Wales. But yeah, we're now living together here. We didn't want to pull him away from that life. She still sees him. I still see him. But the fact of not having him here, it is killing us. But it's also done us a favour
Mhm.
because we'd spend more time together. Yeah, me and her, literally every day.
Yeah.
Together. Yeah, she sits on the sofa here. You've
Mhm.
seen her on the sofa here. Yeah, on a laptop.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when I'm not on here, we have conversations, full conversations here. When we don't, we sit here and watch movies. Currently, the current movies we're watching at the moment, the Harry Potter.
Mhm.
How can I put it? I would literally die for that woman.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she can barely get in and out of the bath. I have to physically help her in and out of the bath. I do all the washing, cleaning. I do everything for her. Getting back on topic of the sexless marriage. You don't need it. Simple as.
Gotcha. And thanks for sharing. Before we move on, I want to invite certainly our next guest, certainly to the show, Mariana,
Hello.
Hi, Mariana. Nice
aka
to
the
see you
witch,
again.
aka the witch doctor. I don't have the soundboard, so I won't torture you with the
Don't turn me
intro.
into a newt.
So-
Don't turn me into a newt or a frog.
So but
She'd
again,
have to
good to
kiss me to turn me back.
good to have you on the show tonight. Good to have you on the show. How you
Thank
doing
you.
tonight, Mariana?
I'm doing all right. Just tired. I was basically resting, and I was baking some chicken to make sure it
Alright.
looks good. So
Nice.
Where's
nice.
mine?
You got to bring some next time. for
Sorry,
sure.
I am a bit of a joker.
I got
if
you.
I'm gonna send it over there, it has to be frozen so it doesn't look spoiled.
There you go. Hey, that could be your next business for sure. But I want to go to Alicia. Since I know Alicia, she's been married before. Oh, is she still with us? Did she tune out? Hopefully, Alicia, come on back to the show. Hopefully, we didn't run you off. But certainly, if you come back on, there she is. She's coming back in.
Yeah, you need to whenever.
Sorry, I froze or something.
Not a problem.
I'm
But
sorry,
I like you to go.
I have
Yeah.
a tendency to waffle. If you know what that means.
Mhm.
Just stop me, Paul.
I got you. But let's go to Alicia, since I know you also have been married.
Nice to see you again,
Um,
Alicia.
So I want to get your perspective again. As much as you want to share, don't share what you don't feel comfortable sharing. I'm not going to force anything out of you. But your thoughts on sexless marriages and you could talk about it generally based on the stats that I showed earlier,
Mhm.
or anything personal you want to share. It's totally your call. However you want to go with that. We heard Craig's story, which is again very unique, in a lot of ways very beautiful. How him and his wife are still able to maintain an intimate relationship and not do anything of a sexual nature. And by that I would probably mean something that would lead to an orgasm, or something like that. They don't even pleasure themselves. So again, lots of certainly discipline there, but from his standpoint, he has a very different view than a lot of people would think about. But what is your thoughts on that? And then we'll get certainly David and Mariana's thoughts, and then we can go into the next segment.
Yeah, so I actually was I was married, and I'm divorced now. Um but yeah, but when I first met my ex-husband, I would say it's something that was very important, to us, to make sure that you do have um a good marriage with sex being very important too.
Mm,
But then when actually it started turning to a sexless marriage is when I knew that there was basically troubles that we were having.
mm,
Um, for me personally, emotionally, if something is wrong, the last thing I want then is
right.
sex from the
Yeah.
partner I'm with.
Yeah.
That's so important to me. Like, and I
Yeah.
physically and emotionally can't be with a person if something is wrong.
Mm,
So, so as soon as I started realizing that our marriage was heading that way, I knew that there was things that we had to look into, and that's when our marriage did become sexless marriage, because there was things I was not happy with, and I
mm,
knew I wanted a divorce then.
mm,
Um, and of course he knew too, because he thought it was as like he knew too that there was something wrong, because he knew that having sex is important in the marriage.
mm,
That's how we both felt.
mm,
Like, to me, it's an important part of being married with your
mm.
partner.
Yeah.
Um, so again, so once that area of no sex started happening, I knew that it was not meant to be anymore.
Right.
Um, and there I had to file for divorce. It was just something that we both had different thoughts on some parts in life that we both agreed with. Another thing too is, which I've always felt like as a woman, if like I need somebody to do their share in a marriage, in a partnership. If
Mm,
you're not doing your share,
yeah.
how can I take that relief? My stuff of what I have to do is more.
Mm,
So how can I relax and want sex from someone where you're not putting your effort in?
mm,
So that's also important to me. Like, if you're not putting effort into something,
mm.
and I personally can't be um, physical or
Yeah.
emotional attached to you.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So so that was basically like what happened with my marriage. Things weren't going well, and it affected us in the sex part of our marriage. Then
Right.
eventually I did get divorced, and then I did go out in the dating field, which 7 years ago, when I first started in the dating field, it was not as hard as it is today.
Mm,
Um, I mean, I was able to meet people, and where everything wasn't. Today, I feel like everything is just about sex. Like, I'm on the dating apps and everything, and all people want is to know when are we gonna hook up.
mm,
Like, the dating field today is just horrible. Um, a couple of years ago, like about 7 years ago, when I first went in the dating field, it wasn't as bad. I did meet somebody, and we started a relationship, and sex was again a very important part, and I made sure to like that that was an important part of our partnership.
mm.
And then again, emotionally, if you're doing what you need to do to take stuff off my shoulders, I'll gladly, like,
Mhm.
I feel like that sex is part of a good marriage or relationship. Sorry, my voice.
I got you. I
I'm
got you.
I'm getting a little cold.
Yeah.
Um
I know the feeling.
Yeah. So again, I feel like it's an important part. Like it was important in my relationship too. So
Mhm.
when that ended, also the sex ended.
Yeah.
Like like I feel like it was I saw that ending before it actually ended.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now I'm in the dating field again, and what is out there, I don't even know where I'm going to go from here. It really is scary to me what you see out there.
Yeah.
And
I
all
hear.
people want is to know, when are we going to hook up? When are we going to hook up? I
Mhm.
don't even know you, you know? But
Right.
a lot of guys out there don't care.
Mhm.
And
I
I
So
hear you.
agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. Thank you for your transparency and sharing that. If I was to summarize what you said, the lack of sex didn't cause the breakup or the lack of sex. It was things outside of that. The relationship, the work ethic, the idea of partnering, and people really, because I've said this for years, that I think sex is a a thermometer of a healthy relationship.
yes,
And I've changed on that in recent years, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But I used to think that if you're married, let's say 10 plus years, and correct, how long you been married, sir?
13, a little over 13 years.
13 years. Okay. So I used to think that, okay, if you're married 10 years plus and you're still sexually active, and by that I mean at least a couple times a week, generally speaking, your relationship is good. It may not be perfect, but it's pretty good in that it is enough to to sustain that you don't have major problems. You may have financial problems, you may have, certain things you may not like what the person does, but generally it's healthy. And the longer you go, as I was showing those stats earlier, the longer you marry, you get to 20 years and you guys are still having sex on a regular basis, things are pretty good. So I always looked at it as a thermometer as of the relationship, and not something that drives a relationship, because you can always have that honeymoon phase and you could be like, well, I mean, there it don't matter what's going on, your hormones are raging and it doesn't matter, you can be mad at each other, upset with each other, it's just like, you could be, sort of on that kind of thing. But something to last a long time, you have to be doing certain things right. Otherwise, it starts getting old, it starts getting stale, or you just lose your lack of desire to do so. So what I'm getting from you is, yeah, there were other major breakdowns in the relationship itself, that sex became a casualty, not a cause, but a casualty of the relationship failure. If I understand you correctly.
yes,
Awesome, awesome. Let's get to David and get his perspective. David certainly has also been married here, and so David, you're free to share your perspective on the idea of sexless marriage, either based on what I shared earlier in terms of the stats, but anything you want to say personally on it. Again, anywhere you want to go, and then we'll bring in Mariana as well. So, David, you have the floor. Your thoughts on sexless marriage, and yeah, I mean, and really, I may just ask the question. I mean, just hearing from Craig, can it work? Can you still be with someone um,
Um,
without?
quick,
Yeah.
quick thingy off that. David, I did leave a message in the private chat for you.
Okay. Um,
All right.
I'll put like this. Every marriage are not the same. Shout out to my brother out there, Manny Petit. He will say this every time. Every marriage is a case by case situation. There are people out here who have been married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, having done it for a long while, and their marriage going strong based on their own individual dynamic on how they feel about one another. But I believe there have been a severe level of mismatch going on in a marriage arena where there's certain people. This is why I say I'm more like a beast. I'm an African man. No, ain't no African man.
Dude, you're a great big teddy bear. Come on.
No. I'm moving away from the teddy bear mode. I'm trying to get into the dark black mode, the danger zone.
There's no doubt about that.
And the thing is, what I've noticed, I think it's also based on culture and upbringing that it affects certain people and what how they view marriage. And this is something I've been trying to find the answer since I was 12, 13 years old. Yes, I have been researching marriage at a very young age because the first time I looked into that topic was in the Bible. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22 to 33. First Peter chapter 7, was it 6 or 7? First Peter chapter 7 from 1 to 6, I remember, if I may be wrong. And I been researching asking question. I go to all the elder folk to get their understanding. I'd look for people who have been married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Ask them questions, sit down and don't interrupt and just listen to see what will it tell me. Because when I look at my peers, a lot of them don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I do notice one thing that stood out is if that foundation was not established beforehand, leave a lot of confusion. So when I say me as an African person, sex is a priority to me. I'm a big man. I'm a manly man. I'm a old school beachly man. That being said, you should understand what I mean when I say it's that important to me. If I had to go out there to the society, deal with the distress, the disrespect, the ties, the pressure, and everything, and a bit over time, if you were the right person, you'll be eager to go home quicker and just unleash. That's me. But when you don't find the right person, there's a severe mismatch, then it starts to mess with your psyche. Shout out to Mr. Paul Bennett for that presentation they put there. There are a lot of factors in there. When me coming from Brooklyn, when something don't go out where it's supposed to be planned, I will be thinking, I will be observing. Why this is happening? Why that is happening? What is the issue? What is the problem? I'm a nerdy at the I like to sit down and talk things out. But one day, after it's not there, suspicion start to play a game. I could get a person benefit of doubt. But if time progresses and I realize this is not what I expected to be, there's some of us or a lot of us, we have two questions that we ask ourselves. If we're going to exit that institution called marriage, should we come out bitter and be vindictive, or we come out hopeful and willing to take a break? I had to learn things on a much deeper level because I'm not gonna lie. If you are a manly man, you are old school kind of man, you gotta have it. It's like living.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
Because in our community, it's a thing that being said a lot. If you're not doing with her, you're doing with somebody else. This is why we had the side chick culture. That become a thing that a lot of people complaining about. Now, not many people have at a extreme level of discipline like I have or some people have, whereby we not got to, how you want to say, put your hand in the cookie jar,
Mhm.
your hand not supposed to be there. I choose to keep to myself because I know the kind of person I am. Some people, what I've seen on panel, I heard the stories. And they're not getting it from you know who. Okay, open that little black book. Let me check my roster. Now, I will keep it 100. I like that. I forgot the name of the particular couple who they did a podcast together and they broke the thing down. And this brother, I think he was a former football player, got injured, he got sidelined, so he was able to further his career. But he got into acting and he found his way around. I think Mr. Ben knew who I'm talking about. I mean, I
Mhm.
remember the name, young couple.
Mhm.
Um, he said it himself, like there's a unwritten rule that have been put on men in Western society that we are not allowed to speak on. Because if we open our mouth and say do what we want, we are being too controlling. You come out as a dictator. You put on too much pressure. But Mr. Bennett have seen the college days. Our fellow brother, they was like, I can't call them wild monkey. They was like gorillas. If they got a girl, and she not supplying the supply, they got somebody else to get it from. But
I
when
think
it
I
comes
think I
down,
understand what you're saying. I mean,
I'm trying to use the right language.
yeah, but let's
But what I'm
get
saying
to the.
this, what I'm saying this from my
Mm,
experience, not having it,
mm,
a break, a connection that you have in that particular unit,
yeah.
a create doubt, a create a change of personality,
Mm,
but also open a lot of negative thought along the way,
yeah.
whereby I don't think anybody want to go down that path. But trust me when I say this, when you're down that path, and you're someone like me who overanalyze, you start to look for everything.
Right.
Then the finger pointing will soon start right off the back. If you're not finger pointing, then you're like me. You say, you know what? I take this on the chin. This never gonna happen again. If I get a second chance, I'm sorry. The Westernization ideology, I'm taking a Gatling gun. I'm shooting that thing down. It's not happening.
Mm,
If I'm gonna do it my way, it be 1,000% according to my culture.
mm,
If you don't like it, you can choose whatever cab and jump off the bridge. I could kill us. I'm not playing that game
right.
because I know what it done to a person when you in that. And we have been there on BMU when we have people who going through what I was going through, and they were sleeping in their car. They go to work, shut the hell out. There's no outlet, and you have to fight the urge
Mm,
from stepping out.
mm,
Now, if you're not a man of discipline, then they've already been stepped out already several times. So here my question to throw out there to the ladies. If you're in a situation with your significant other, if you're not supplying it to him, do you have any right to accuse him or chastise him if he step out since you're not doing your duty?
okay. Let's hold on to that one. All right. We'll come back to that.
Hmm.
Um, Mariana, I want to get your thoughts on that. We can certainly entertain David's question as well as I have a video I want to play a part of, and we
Okay.
can have the latter half of the conversation. But Mariana, I want to get your views on this idea of sexless marriage. Just your general thoughts based on I don't know if you saw the slides that I showed earlier in terms of the statistics and the definition of what sexless marriage is, how it's defined, but your general thoughts on it as a topic, and then we can go into a little more nuance on it. So, whatever you want to say on the topic.
I didn't get a chance to see those slides.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I hope it's not too long. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. I mean, basically, it just to summarize the slides. Obviously,
Mhm,
the most obvious thing that came from the slides is the younger you are, the
mhm.
less likely your marriage is going to be sexless, right? So again, you
Okay.
got your honeymoon phase and whatnot, and certainly over time, the longer your marriage, the less sex you tend to have over time. Also,
Mhm.
talking about the types of sexless marriages. So I think one of the types that was talked about was I think what Craig's situation is.
Mhm.
Where Craig's is it's sexless, but
Yeah.
not but it doesn't lack intimacy.
Okay.
He's very intimate with his wife, even though they're not
Um,
sexual.
I want to
Then you
add.
have marriages
I
that
want. I
are
want to add
that
something to that.
lack intimacy, period. There's no sex,
Mhm.
there's no intimacy. And
Mhm.
then you have relationships where the sex is just plain bad.
Paul,
Yeah.
Yeah.
could I add something to that? It doesn't stop me from having urges because damn, I have urges, but I don't act on them. There's no
Mhm.
need for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? In a
Right.
in a relationship that I have with Nikki, I don't need them. Yeah,
Mhm.
the urges are there. I'm not lying about it. The urges are there, but I don't require them.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can control them.
Mhm.
Um, you can. What's the word? There are other ways. Yeah, you don't have to do self gratification, but you can enjoy the time with each other.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
that's all you need
That
in
first
a
type of
relationship.
sexless marriage. That's why I was on the. What I was just saying.
Yeah,
You're not having intercourse. I will say this: you're not having intercourse, but you're still very intimate. You talk
yeah,
about you bathe together, you lay together, you do
yeah,
other things. Maybe you give each other massages. You still kiss.
yep,
Mhm.
very much
So
so.
there's other things that you can do. In your case, that you are doing that
Mhm.
still leads to a fulfilling marriage, even though you're not committing the act. But
Yeah,
Mariana, from your perspective, your
Mhm.
thoughts on this and the idea that you can have a sexless marriage and still be happy. I mean, what is your view on that? So talk about sexless marriages in general and just
Mhm.
the idea: can you have a happy marriage um, without it?
Mhm.
So your thoughts?
For my thoughts, I mean, since I was never married, um, from what I observed as growing up, before my parents, they got married, everything went smooth, but after two kids, it started to like the only time, they get sex when, when he decided, oh, we're gonna have a third kid or fourth kid or whatever. It's just that moment. It's not, it's to me, I think it's important to have. It depends because sometimes sometimes let's say, a husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, you could come home from work, but you're so exhausted. You don't have that urge or whatever. And say, I'm too tired. Like you
Hmm.
can't, have that, just can't like able to have that intimacy or sex. And that's hard, I will say, especially when it's a long day. And then, something like the husband, kiss the wife and honey, I'm sorry, I can't do it tonight. Like, it's hard now because of how I will say the culture changed,
Hmm.
I will say. Um, from the years that I growing up, I know it was kind of a sexless marriage, I would say, but when it's kind of convenient,
Hmm.
I will say. Um, but it was not controlling, definitely was not controlling. I mean, there were kind of disagreements here and there, but that was so different back then. But now it's like you may have sex when you want to have a child per se, or you could have sex when you want to have that release stress, that pleasure.
Hmm.
But it's hard, I will say. It's now it's like, you want to make sure that that intimate moment counts, but it's also that you have it. Like you want to make sure you don't feel like, it's, I will say, we're in extreme work culture, I will say now, because I will say there's some people have it able to and some people cannot.
Mhm.
And it's also sometimes your mind is getting caught up with something else going on in your head. And the
Mhm.
worst thing is, if you want to be intimate, you don't like to worry too much something going on in your mind, like you thinking about something, this, oh, I'm how I'm gonna able to take care of it. Like, it's so much on your mind, it's like your mind is not cleared.
Mhm.
That's the last thing you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from what I see, growing up, it's more like my parents made it work. Of course, it wasn't easy, but to make they want to have kids, so five of us, because I'm the oldest one.
Mm.
So I am, like, it just they my mom always want to have, like, a big family. So it was more like that, but not like my father didn't control, like. But also it got to the point later in life. I don't know if I want to go a little deeper. um and I noticed my mom felt a little guilty. I don't know what happened. And my father kind of blurred out her business, which wasn't appropriate coming from my father. Um, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a miscarriage. I don't know if my mom aborted. I supposed to have three more siblings.
Mhm.
And my mom told him, do not touch me. Do not touch me. She felt that guilt. Like, she want to have those, because we were five of us, there would be eight of us total. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, that didn't happen. I guess was financial costs, whatever the case is. So it was like, it got to the point, like, okay, you could be intimate, kiss me, this and that, but not in a sexual intercourse type of way. But she
Mhm.
felt like she felt bad about herself.
Right.
And
Right.
it was not appropriate. I kind of got upset with my father to talk about it. I rather prefer my mom say it to me in her way, not somebody just kind of blur it out.
Mhm.
And my father didn't think before he say it,
Right.
which is
But at the same
unfortunate.
time, he's the one who's being affected by it, right? So
Yeah, I mean, he got affected
it's
by it. And but he didn't think it, like, he just
mhm.
kind of blurred. And she kind of yelled at her, do why say why why are you saying my business,
Mhm.
why you tell this to our kids.
Mhm.
And it was very hard for me to process it, I
Mhm.
remember.
Yeah.
So but other than that, but I know now, I mean, you could have a sexless marriage, but I will say intimacy is, you need to have intimacy. Either, let's say, if somebody cannot be, uh or you have to be, like, you care and love for each other. And then you have to make it work, because you have to know that that's a special bond you cannot break.
Mhm.
It's very crucial, I will say. That's the way I look at it. Like, in order to, and also, we were meant to be sexual human beings, to, and basically, I know sex is for to care for one another, but it's also to uh create children, procreate children. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we have it. But we also have to enjoy each other, as human beings. That's the purpose of, to be married in a marriage. But I know that there's some people, I hate to say it, for controlling. um I remember my mom telling me stories, and it's kind of disturbing. Sometimes relatives kind of push, like, it could be the mother, could be the aunt, the whatever sister, trying to force somebody to marry. And then, the bride could get really upset and is not happy about it. um in other cultures, which I don't know why. I mean, it still exists. um Maybe we don't see this here, but I think they do it secretly. And
Mhm.
also in other parts of the world, in some impoverished village, which to me it's disturbing. And I kind of feel bad, because I don't think nobody should be forced to get married against their own will. Like, either you marry this guy, or we're going to be poor, or whatever the case is. um that to me, and I know that will that that marriage will go tumble down, and it of course doesn't work, and
Right.
then that other person want to escape.
Right. Right.
So,
You said a few things that I want to circle back to.
mm-hmm,
'Cause I think even David mentioned it. Talk about foundations.
mm-hmm,
I think where you start in terms of how you are informed
mm-hmm,
about sex is going to have a big impact, I think, on your sexual relationships down the line. And
mm-hmm,
I think what you just said
mm-hmm,
is pretty profound.
mm-hmm,
I did a show on BMU's network a couple years ago on
mm-hmm,
sex education.
mm-hmm,
And I don't know how it is in the UK, but I lamented the lack of sexual education in this country, especially by parents, especially conservative ones,
mm-hmm,
because a lot of them they get very upset when they try to teach sex ed in schools,
mm-hmm.
but they're not doing their job in terms of educating their kids properly on the role of sex at home.
Yeah.
And what you just said about sex is a normative part of being a human being.
Mm-hmm,
I think men tend to kind of get it. But
mm-hmm.
where I don't hear that coming from is from women. Particularly, I don't hear mothers teaching that to their daughters.
Yeah.
Sex generally is something that you are to stay away from.
Mm-hmm,
It's scary, it's dangerous, and again, under certain circumstances it very well can be. But I've rarely heard, and I had a panel of women on that show that night
mm-hmm.
asking them what did their mothers teach them about sex? And it was all negative. There
Yeah.
was no sense of it being tied to your femininity. Like I've always said, the way men generally approach
Mm-hmm,
it is sexuality is associated with masculinity. To be masculine is to be sexual, and to be sexual is to be masculine, generally.
mm-hmm.
But you never hear sex and femininity ever paired together. Chastity, virtue, those things are tied to it. But again, for a woman to come into sex and not think of it as dirty
Mm-hmm.
or naughty or some other negative trope to it,
Mm-hmm.
I think we've hurt women more
Yeah.
so than help them by trying to make it seem something that is not. It's for men and for women. It's for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to elevate what you said because I think that is something that's sorely lacking in our education, especially when what are we teaching our girls
I
about their
actually agree with
bodies,
that. I agree with that.
about how that in many ways it's healthy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like
Yeah.
oh stay away, it's dangerous. No, it's that's no. And again, for a guy to be, as Craig shared earlier, he was a bit
Mm-hmm.
of a randy back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But if a woman acts like Craig, then she's considered something else,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and it's usually not positive.
Yeah.
We have a we have a you know it's not equal, it's not fair. Even though both it takes two people to do it,
Yeah.
one side is looked at in a positive. A man is
Mm-hmm.
celebrated in many respects by his sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
his virility, but a woman
Mm-hmm.
is treated differently in
Mm-hmm.
society. And so I've always thought that that's always a poor foundation to go on. And another
Mm-hmm.
thing that you said
Mm-hmm.
was that oftentimes sex is transactional.
Mm-hmm.
That it's
Mm-hmm.
something to be traded and commoditized, but not something that's shared. That sex
Yeah.
should have a mutual positive benefit for both. You have kids together.
Mm-hmm.
You have orgasm
Mm-hmm.
together.
Mm-hmm.
You have closeness and bond together.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times when you sell it, oh, if
Mm-hmm.
you take the trash out or if you take me out to on a nice date or whatever, then you'll get some. Or
Mm-hmm.
if you want this, then I'll give you that. I mean, if it becomes a quid pro quo, then I think you lessen it. They say it's the oldest profession for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
because people have always tried to commoditize it when it's not something that should be commoditized. It should be shared, especially for those who decide to dedicate themselves to lifelong partnership and commitment. So
Mm-hmm.
you talked on two things. You talked about just in terms of what people are taught, and
Mm-hmm.
then also I think the commoditization of it has done much in terms of damaging how
Mm-hmm.
people approach it. And when you
Mm-hmm.
see it in marriage, when you it's either treated as a reward system or as a
Yeah.
system of punishment.
Yeah.
I think you're misusing and abusing something that was meant to be mutually shared and enjoyed
And
by the couple that is engaging in it.
Paul,
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Craig.
what I was going to say about the school thing, right? I personally think they need to re-look into it. Yeah. With what's going on nowadays, you've got more young teenage pregnancies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with what they're doing in the schools, it's what obsolete. They need to update it,
Mm-hmm.
make it a little bit more relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, show them that all the horror things, what would happen, what could
Mm-hmm.
happen to you.
Yeah.
Get them to see if their parents allow it and sign off on it. Get them to see birthing videos, how much pain the woman would go through. Yeah, at such a young age. Yeah, and all the responsibilities that it brings with it. They don't show that in schools nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as I said, the system needs updating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
but
But
sorry,
the
I
issue is,
know I'm going off
why
on this
is it that
tangent, and
parents
I
have
know I'm
such a
going
problem
off
with it?
on something different, but it's just the school system, same as
Mm-hmm.
over here. Yeah, personally, I don't think they're teaching enough of it. Yeah, and they need to
Yeah.
get deeper into it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the question I had was whether you agree that you want your kids learning it in school or not. My
Yeah,
thing is, if you don't want them learning in school, my question is, what are you teaching them? I think parents do a lot more disservice to their kids
Mm-hmm.
when they're not real with them. Give them the 100% on what it is. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
daughters, you should look forward to it because it's a beautiful thing and it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to feel good. And
I
when you're
ain't
with
never
your
had a
husband,
chance.
it's a great thing that it's not something you should necessarily fear. You
Paul,
shouldn't have it recklessly. You shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
out there, promiscuously.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's forming a context that's positive that they look forward to,
Mm-hmm.
rather than something that you should be fearful of. So I think our sex ed in general, whether it be in the schools, is bad, but parents are even worse because I've heard, and especially in certain black communities, you've heard all kinds of things, just
Mm-hmm.
wives' tales about, oh well, if you do it, your Johnson will fall off, or just all kinds of just wives' tales and things like that that are just not true. And I
Yeah.
don't think that serves anybody good when we do that. But I got a couple things I want to get to just to move so long. We got about 40 minutes
what
left
I was
in,
going to
in
say
the
is
show. But
there's a little story I did with my little. I was at my stepmom's, and because I was watching, because I've never been and I've never seen a baby come out. Yeah,
mhm,
and my son before with Nikki, with my ex, um, she was pregnant with my child. And I, as I said, never seen a child. I had the video on my laptop, and at the time I was at my stepmom's. My sister
mhm,
was, what, 13, 14 at the time. And I'd forgot I left it on my computer. My sister wanted to check her email, so she went on it, she watched the video. She was absolutely horrified when she saw it. She's like, I'm not having a kid until I'm a lot older. Do you know what I mean?
mhm,
Um, it's things like that. The kids need to scare a little bit before they can even think about that.
mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Give them the willies at the back. You know what I mean?
right.
The old saying is scare them, right? Scare them to not having that sort of thing.
Mhm,
Yeah, teach them about protection. Great, but the system's a bit old and they're still doing it.
mhm,
You need to actually physically show them.
mhm,
But nowadays, kids nowadays, um, even when I was younger, they're watching horror films for Christ's sake at a young age of 9 years old.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not
which
scared.
is one of the
They don't
reasons why
care.
I'm not a big fan of the scare tactic, because more times than not, the more you scare them, and that's one of the reasons why I was against it, is if you try to scare them, it only makes them want it more.
Yeah,
If you tell the kids, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, it's like, don't put your hand in the cookie jar. What are they going to do when no one's around? They want
yeah.
to put their hands in a cookie jar. So again, I think there needs to be a more positive and open approach to how we communicate to younger people. And I think that would do a
Well,
lot
the
in
biggest
terms
thing,
of
the biggest thing is the kids
setting the stage
need
for a
to,
better
Paul,
outcome.
the kids need to be able to talk to their parents. Nowadays, kids feel, because their parents put so much stress on them, and the same with the school. Yeah, the kids are too scared to go home, say, "Mummy, Daddy, I'm pregnant." Do you know what I mean? They're too scared.
Oh, sure.
They're too scared of the consequences. Some mothers, even America,
But they're
right?
scared. But they're
Parents
scared
throw
of
them out in the
everything.
street.
But hang on,
Yeah,
they're scared of everything. I mean, take that advantage. Take that out of it.
yeah. They
If
need to be
Johnny
able to talk to their
if
family.
Johnny starts touching himself, they're scared.
Yeah,
I mean, or if Mary starts touching herself,
yeah,
they're scared. And I'm saying that I think that mindset has to change. We're meant to be sexual,
yeah.
and to
I
help
remember
a
that.
young child, once you start getting puberty and once you start having these feelings and these urges, and Johnny looks down and say, "Hey, what's that sticking out?" You don't run away from it. You
Yeah,
embrace it, because again, they need to have a healthy body image,
yeah.
and that this is healthy biological function. That's what I want the conversation to go. But we really need to go on. There's two major points I want to kind of go in here.
Go for it.
And so first, I do want to show a video though. All right. So again, I'm going to put up just a couple minutes of this video. I'm going to enact fair use policy. Okay. Fair Use Act 1976, and we're going to talk to a couple, British, Craig, who are in a sexless marriage, but they kind of feel like you a bit. So I just want to share this, and let's talk about it for a couple minutes. But I do want to share this clip, and I'm only going to play about a minute of it or so, and then we'll come back to it. And then I want to go back to David's question when he talked about the idea of um, when your marriage is sexless, can you truly blame somebody for stepping out in that kind of situation? I want to talk about that. I want to bring that to the floor.
Depending on the situation.
Hang on to it. We'll get to you. I'm just setting the stage. I'm the stage setter. Don't jump ahead of it. But let's get into this, and let's see what she's saying here. And let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear this.
I know that one.
The night, and I suffer with that quite a lot. So it just seemed the logical thing for us to have separate rooms.
And did you both agree on this at the same time? Because you normally find in relationships one person's sex drive might be slightly higher than the other, and people deal with that in their own individual ways. But you both agreed that this was just something you didn't do anymore.
We've got a really open, honest, transparent relationship. We talk about everything, absolutely everything, and that, I think, is the most important thing.
Did you make that decision together then? Did you sit down and say, we're just not going to have sex, or was it a slow realisation that after a while you just hadn't had sex?
Do you know, I think it was just a progressive thing.
Well, he said, Graham, this is your husband, he said, I'd gone past caring. I don't even bother asking anymore.
That's right.
So it sounds like it wasn't something that was necessarily openly
agreed upon.
Agreed.
No, I think it was, that's kind of slightly taken out of context in the sense of that he would never push and push and push and push. If I say no, that's it. Absolutely. He won't keep pushing me.
Do you still fancy him?
Absolutely.
So how come the fancying stops at wanting to tear his clothes off and make love to him?
So we live in a situation that's probably not the norm. We have 3 children, 5 dogs. We live with my mother-in-law. We're in a very small house, and finding those intimate moments is actually really difficult.
Are you intimate outside of having sex in terms of kissing and cuddling and affectionate?
Yeah,
so
very
it's
affectionate.
just the sex that is taken out of your marriage.
Yeah.
It's gone further than that because you offered to pay for a prostitute.
I did, yes. After I had my second child, I had really bad postnatal depression, and I felt that I was pushing him away. which again is quite normal with women with postnatal depression. And
Pause it
I
for a
did
second.
actually
Pause it
say
for a
to him, and
second.
I told my counsellor this at the
Pause it for a
time,
second.
that
Pause it for a second.
if he wanted.
Okay. Like I'll stop it there because that also gets into David's point. So we can.
Yeah, no, all I could hear was whoom coming through the speakers. Sorry, I don't know who that was.
Sorry, what was that?
All I could hear coming through the speakers was whoom, or
Oh,
echoing.
Was everybody able to hear that piece or no?
I able to hear it.
I was able to hear it.
Okay.
I was able to hit everything, so everything was clear.
Okay. Okay. So it might be on your end, Craig. But so I just want to kind of go around and just get people's thoughts on. So here's a couple very kind of similar to Craig in that. And again, this is a again couple, 3 kids. Early in the piece, she also talked about they have 3 miscarriages, 5 dogs. They live with their mother, with the mother-in-law and whatnot. So again, the idea of intimacy or having sex is a bit off the table, but they're still intimate. They still kiss. They still find each other attractive. They still, uh, you know, um, have feelings for each other that way. But they just don't have the. They just don't have the sexual piece. So your thoughts on that, number one, and then especially for the ladies in particular. Now she also said that certainly she even considered allowing her husband to be with and again I won't use the term, but as an option. Could you blame a man for stepping out if there's no sex? If he wants it and she doesn't, could you blame the guy for stepping out of the marriage in that particular situation? So I'll start with Mariana. We'll go to Alicia and David, and have Craig wrap on that. So Mariana, your thoughts on the segment, and then the idea to David's question about what happens when there is no sex, but sex is desired but not had. And I'll put this on a man or a woman. So if you're the man who doesn't want it, and there's reasons why that may not happen, ED, whatever whatever the situation, or some health challenge or something, but you want it and you can't. Could you blame a partner for stepping out when that's not available? So your thoughts on those 2 segments, and then we'll go to Alicia.
Okay. Well, if let's say if a partner cannot give, either a male or female, and sometimes they had to, go outside their marriage and tell them, they're gonna have to be straightforward. Because sometimes the other person cannot have doesn't have that physical pleasure, I would say, to give.
Mm.
Whatever the case is, it got issues. It could be also somebody, don't have that desire, could probably, lost libido or whatever the case is. um I will not blame the person if he decided to go outside to find, or you could call it, I'm gonna say my term, escort, whatever you call it. I hate to, I have to say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's, because it's not fair, because you need that sexual satisfaction, I will say. It's also to, in a way, to feel good. But if that couple that I see, if they're happy, they're happy. And because it's hard, you live in a small home, you have 3 kids, 5 dogs, a mother-in-law. I mean, how in the world are you going to be intimate? It's so small. You don't want somebody to hear right in the next door. That's going to be very awkward.
It's crazy because I
Yeah.
went. I'll just share this. Like I have sisters. They live in Vegas, and one, she's like very big. So, you come to Vegas, you have to stay with us. And I said no, I prefer not to, because I don't want you hearing
Yeah.
anything that my wife and I are doing. I have this thing about being in
Yeah.
relatives' homes. I could never
Yeah.
do it in another relative's home. If I'm a
Yeah.
hotel, if it's not a hotel or some other place, I can't do it. That's just creepy to me. I can't do
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
but go ahead. That was
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
okay. Yeah, because that, to me, I could see why it's impossible for them to have sex in that house. Impossible. If they had a bigger house and enough, but it's impossible. That's why if it's that small, that I could see why they at least they're intimate, they're happy. But if he has to find ways to, have that pleasure, then so be it. I mean, it's not something to feel guilty about it. It's that it's something that you desire, I guess. But it's kudos to them because there's not a lot of couples are like that, I will say. To be intimate, at least you kiss each other, you adore each other. Um, but other than that, it's to live to have a tiny home. I mean, that's not easy to do either. So I could see why, the sex is off the table. So I cannot blame them for that because it's like you don't want you don't want your kids to learn that early either because they have to learn later in life, to learn the birds and the bees and know, you don't want to have the last thing you want to be a grandparent that young because they need to know, firsthand, what you're supposed to, because I will say our sex education is very poorly. And that's, they need a new change on sex education for children.
Mm.
They need an upgrade.
Yeah, definitely upgrade. So that's why if they're happy, so be it. I cannot, you cannot take that away. I will say if they're happy and if this is what what they want, let them be like that. I mean, it's at least he's not forcing or she's forcing. Either way, it's I think that to me, that's a uh welcome marriage, I would say.
Hmm. Gotcha. Alicia, your thoughts on the video and those two questions that I had?
Yes. So I actually experienced something similar to this 2 years ago. I was in a relationship, um, and we were in like a pretty good relationship at the time. It was like and going on like over 5 years.
Hmm.
But I was diagnosed with cancer, and medications I was on basically did not help with a sex drive. So I had to then worry about what is my partner going to do? Like, are they going to stick around? Are they going to be like, this is part of my life that I need, so I have to find somebody else? Like, it was a very not only would they stick around just for just because they couldn't because sex was not part of the relationship then due to all the medications, but also they I worried about them not sticking around for that first part, and then the second part where my desires just completely went away,
Mm.
like completely gone.
Mm.
And unfortunately, the relationship didn't last, but it wasn't because of a sexless relationship. But that was one of my biggest worries was when I personally went through it, and I had to wonder, would this person stick around? Would they be okay with it? Like, so we actually made it through another 2 years without any problems. So he was there for me, like sex or no sex. So,
Mm.
so that's something that even though I worried about it, I really didn't have to worry about then. But of course, it was on my mind.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Um,
David, I'm sorry.
yeah, no,
Are you,
no,
okay.
that
Okay. Okay. David, your thoughts on the video and then on the and then on your question. So I hope the ladies answered your question, but anything you want to add to
Hmm.
it?
The video is very, very interesting. The reason why I'm going to say it's very, very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I will give you the African side of that approach. This is what I've known living in Nigeria for 7 years. If you are a married man with your wife, living with your in law, and you have kids together, you're living in your in law house, I hate to say this, nothing is stopping them from doing it.
Walls or no walls?
Been there, done
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm
I can't.
sorry.
I'm sorry. I can't.
Shout out,
Yeah, I
shout
don't
out, shout
care.
out to
I don't
my
care how
Indian.
big the house is. You're gonna have a compound that really. I'm on the other far side of the I can't. No, there was nothing. The times I spent over my relative's home. My wife and I already knew there's nothing happening. I couldn't, even if I wanted to. I just it's call it a mental block or whatever. I just couldn't put myself to do it. It's just that's just
Dude,
too.
Shout out to my favorite YouTube
dude,
couple,
dude,
Lamb
it
and
never stopped
Linda.
me, mate.
That's why
Like
I
I said,
said,
I more power to you. I couldn't do it.
Mr. Bennett,
Before back in
hit
the
it
day,
though.
people hang on, people used to talk about, oh yeah, we did it in our mom's bed or our parents' bed or what. I say, are you crazy? That is ew to the max. I would never do it in somebody who I knew in their bed. I just couldn't do. I just can't do it. You know.
My brother
Yeah.
did
I'm
that
sorry.
once, and he had
Shout out to Lamb and Lind, who they made that confession on 154 Africa on that Nigerian podcast, which is funny, but that is the honest truth. African people have no restraint. You're in your relative home, Wally. Your ear is not a virgin, so I don't know why you keep acting that way.
dude,
Anyway,
I've got a story for you. My younger brother did it in my mum's bed, right?
No.
And it's a
No.
proper. It was a proper pine bed, and he actually broke it, right?
No.
let me put it like
And
Can't do
this.
it. But
we were
Let me
only
put it like this.
teenagers at the time as well.
I'm sorry. When I was in high school out here, it was a bragging right to see who can get away with what in their parent home
Mhm.
and where you doing it. Either in your bedroom, either in the closet, in the bathroom, in the
Mhm.
kitchen, behind the house, in the attic. You did it in the living room when nobody was not paying you any attention. It was bragging right. And
I
kids come
was
to the
going to
school talking
church.
like, yo, I put it off. Nobody know that we were doing it. And everybody passed by. I was like, you did what? And where? And they passed you and you crazy. That was the bragging right.
Mhm.
African don't give up. I'm sorry. They'll do it in the rain if they have to.
But they do it in church.
mm,
Church, I've heard the story from the south
I have.
to the north in the United States.
I've
Mhm.
There's no place safe for the church. They have done it. I've heard anywhere and everywhere they have done it,
mm.
and
done
this
it.
happened
I've
mostly
done
by
it. Backfire in the
this
church.
happened
Fully
by
loaded.
pastors' daughters and pastors' son. Blame them for that.
Mm.
Mhm.
I've done
But
it.
to be honest with you, I don't think it stopped people in our culture from doing it because I hate to say there's some culture in my country which is weird. I'm gonna say it out here, so don't think it's my fault. It's a particular tribe where they emphasize on virginity heavy. They don't expect no male child or no female child done to be having it outside of in the realm of, outside the realm of marriage. If they do get married, this is true story. 'Cause a particular content creator said her particular tribe does this, and I quote: "The act of securing the marriage, there will be elders who will watch you get into the act. Want to make sure you know how to do it
Well,
properly."
well, and
Oh
well,
hell
actually,
no!
now it is biblical. Well, I would say this: it's in the Bible, right?
Mhm.
In Jewish law, the
Mhm.
idea is once you got married,
Mhm.
you were supposed to demonstrate that you actually did it because again when you not trying to get
Hmm.
too graphic here but when you
I know.
break the hymen and the blood from that
Hmm.
you're supposed to put the sheet outside of your house or tent or whatever just to let the
Hmm.
whole world know that this
Oh
marriage has
holy
been consummated.
cow!
That
And
is in the Bible. I don't endorse
and
it,
if
but I'm just
and the
I just
funny thing
let you
about
know
it,
this there. So imagine you having to perform your first time in front of the whole community. That's pressure to me. So
and here's the joke. I know Craig is cringing, but here's the joke. When I heard it on that podcast, she said it's the elder woman and the elder man who will be in that tent with you and your spouse, and they want to make sure you know what the hell you are doing. And they go, "What?" And I was like, at first, I wasn't cringing. I was like, "What again?" I had to rewind it. She said, "Yes, it's a must." I was like, "I'm glad I'm not in that tribe because I would not be able to do it. Because you know why? You watching me?
That's pressure.
Johnny Boy, Johnny
You
Boy
you
not
think
getting
you
up.
think going on a set an adult film set is pressure? Imagine again, but you have to in front of
Do it in
nah,
front of a
man.
priest. No thanks.
So I'm just saying, you know.
That one scared the hell out. I think what tribe is it again? Okay, stay away from people from that tribe. Hell no.
My wife
Wow.
That
was
is beyond
saying,
pressure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
get the hell
But
out
I
of there.
would
We've
say
got
this
to
to
eat
that
chicken.
point though, if that's we're all taught by our culture, right? If that's how culturally
Hmm.
it's done, like I would like they say ignorance is bliss. You wouldn't know any better because if everyone's doing it, if you grow up in a house and all you hear is oohs and ahs and banging on the door, on the floor, the bed shaking, if that's what you grow up with, you just
Yep.
think that's normal, right? Just say that's just what people do. But I didn't grow up like that, and so again, I just think it's weird. You know, it's just ooey when it's and yeah, and I know I'll probably torture my our kids because my wife and I again we keep the door closed, but they've said yeah we've heard you guys, and you know I ain't trying to
I
you
used to
know
throw the shoe at the
we're
wall.
not trying to. We're not yelling. We try to keep it, or if we do get too loud, I say shh, shh, too loud. So, but
Yeah, and
they've
in the breakfast
confessed to
morning, they
us.
had the angry eye looking at mom and
They've
dad like,
they've
really?
confessed to
We had an
us.
exam?
They've confessed to us that yes we've heard you, you know, and I'm like,
I used to try and gag her.
And I'm sure, no, Craig, then what happened? Look, Craig, then what happened? They had a final exam, and mom and dad were getting busy. They can't even focus on their study. So the next morning, looking at mom and dad, that's his Paul and his wife, like,
Mhm.
really? Really got to do that? And we got an exam today? And you got up all night thinking about what the noise you were making,
mm,
and I can't focus on my study, but you were getting happy. At least you're happy, but we're not happy. We were trying to study,
yeah.
and you were, mm-hmm.
But imagine you being on the lower floor and upstairs, you just hearing this constant pound, thump, thump, thump. It's like, oh man, they're doing it again. So,
I used to turn the stereo up in my dad's old house.
I'm just saying, Marianne, I hope we're not grossing you out too much here. I'm just trying
No.
to, but
Yeah, just I didn't know that still exists. That's
She's
crazy.
like,
yes,
what the hell? I'm going back in the 90s, love. I'm going back in the 90s when my dad was still married to his ex.
yeah,
Oh my
but
God.
But seriously, let me finish what I was saying. But that is it one of those things I've heard from different cultures that have different practice.
mm,
Hmm.
Now, for young couple who are not in that dynamic, it never stopped them from doing it. But I do realize what I've been going back and looking at different article and looking at different past video. It become a problem if they notice the young couple are not engaging with each other as often like they should
mm,
because they are concerned. Because meaning, if he's not getting what he want to get from his wife, he may stray away, or this is normal in our country, in our culture, look for a second wife.
mm,
Hmm.
That is another conversation itself. But listen to that lady talk about she was okay, which was fine. I always look at society set or society configuration, meaning what goes on in Europe is not the same in the US. What goes on in the US is not the same in South America. What goes on in South America, not Africa. There are too many different dynamics. So I can't say they are the same. Maybe that's what they agreed to go upon based on there's too much bodies around and you can't have that level of privacy. I get it. Africa don't care about privacy. They'll do it in the rain. They'll do it in the
yeah,
ocean. They'll
oh,
do it behind a
absolutely,
tree. They'll do it in the forest. They'll do it on a farm.
yeah.
They
Or
don't
even in
care.
countries like India. I mean, Indians, from what I understand, they're fairly modest, right? In terms of they don't talk about a whole lot. But I'm like, wait a minute. In certain communities, you got one house got 30 people in it, and so you're gonna be exposed one way or the other. You don't get that kind of population, and people are just
No,
being,
God
uh,
forbid, 30 people in the house, four married couple, and you the thing when everybody get on you hear all mixture of noise. You getting tortured like
yeah, yeah. So
I need to move out. I need to move out now. I can't go through the every night.
where you
They
gonna
want
go?
making
Because
it.
it's
They want.
there's people everywhere. So where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? But I wanna go back to the topic, and again to
Yeah,
the
that's why I tell
ladies
you
and
about to the topic. I have to answer that question. But based on the question I gave earlier,
mhm,
I would not say it's okay for either the guy or the woman to step out because first and foremost, I remember I said earlier, if the foundation was not established beforehand, before getting that particular relationship, it could get confrontational. Either you like it or you don't.
Mhm.
Some cultures, in our culture, they make it crystal clear. If wife number one don't feel like they need to do so, so they have every cultural right to find a second wife or third
Mhm.
to fulfill such need.
Mhm.
And that have been a thing that been going on for many centuries.
Right.
So that is within African cultures as well, and sometimes Middle Eastern have that same
Well,
practice
even
as
in
well.
Europe, I mean, correct. I mean, and now I don't know about UK. Like I know in France, they say it's pretty common for a married man to have his side opar or
Hmm.
whatever you want to, I mean, so it's I think it's across the, certainly in Europe. I know in the islands of Caribbean, Jamaican men, they always said that they always have a side piece somewhere. So I don't know how it is in UK. Is it
A lot of
common
people
for
are like that in the UK. It's everywhere, mate. But why? I don't understand why.
I, I
If
guess
if you love
for a
the
lot of
person you
guys,
with, you
yeah.
wouldn't need to get look elsewhere.
Well, I don't know. I think that men in general, again, I'm not justifying it, but I
To
do
be
think
honest,
certain men
to be honest,
compartmentalize certain
I could
things.
say
Like there's
something like
certain
that.
things that I remember. I don't know if you guys remember Analyze This. You ever see that movie with um so he talked about why he had a side piece, like, he didn't want there's certain things he didn't think he could do with his wife that he could do with somebody outside. Whether it's justified or not. He didn't want his wife doing things to him, and then she goes and kisses his babies or something. Again, guys get all kinds of ideas in their heads in terms of how they view the mother of their children or the wife, especially once you have kids. You become something else. That certainly is something I think that can happen. But I want to get back to just to the ladies again, and you can answer this any way you want. David's
Mhm.
question is about cheating. What is your view when it comes to, and again, I'll be very PC correct,
Mhm.
to self-soothing? So you're married
Mhm.
or in a significant relationship, yet your
Mhm.
partner still, for whatever reason,
Mhm.
still self-soothes himself. Or if you are in a sexless marriage, you
Mhm.
may, because I can understand a woman not wanting a guy to step out.
Mhm.
But if it is a sexless situation or he's not getting as much as he that you can give him because of whatever reason, health reasons or whatever it is, could you blame him for doing that in the
Mhm.
absence or her doing that?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because now women they're up in their game and they got devices and all kinds of things out there that they have access to. Could you blame
That's definitely true.
the partner for taking care of themselves? They're not stepping
Mhm.
out technically, or do you think
Mhm.
that that is cheating? Because I know some women who think that even if you're looking at corn, that's cheating, or if you self-soothe yourself, that's cheating. What are your views on that? Whether you're in a healthy sexual relationship, part of your marriage, or if you are in a sexless type of marriage, what is your view on that? And I want to ask the ladies that because I think men are able to compartmentalize more than ladies do. So your thoughts on that thing in
Mhm.
particular. Mariana, start with you and then go to Alicia.
Okay. Um, this is kind of hard in a way because I know that women tend to be more emotional
Mm-hmm.
and more attached when it comes to sex. And also the fact that, let's say, if I cannot give it, whatever the case is, it could be, a number of reasons, health or not physically capable, whatever the case is. Because they, it's a list of things. If you, like, I hate to say it, sometimes you have to pay like an escort service for, but how much can you able to do that? Because sometimes
That's
you
right.
have
That's
to,
why I'm not even. That's why I'm not
yeah,
because I think that's the question that David asked earlier.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going something that's a bit more. So take other
Mm-hmm.
women at least
Mhm.
physically off the
Mhm.
table. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
Okay.
about, you go into the bathroom and you catch your husband and he's relieving. Are you upset about that? Are
Mhm.
you glad about it? I mean, what I'm saying, that kind of situation specific, because I could never kind of get a straight answer
Mhm.
from a lot of people on the cheating thing, the affair stuff. I think that's kind of, simpler, but your
Mhm.
view on self pleasuring,
Mhm.
right? If your husband walked in on you and you were self pleasuring yourself, should he be upset? Should he be happy? Should he just join you? What's the your general sense of that scenario?
With that scenario, I think I will not consider not to feel guilty if I'm self pleasuring myself, whatever the case is.
Hmm. Or
He
he's
could,
or he's doing it towards
or he's doing it, whatever the case is, vice versa. We're supposed to enjoy each other's company.
you. Hmm.
If we're like pleasuring ourselves or whatever the case is. Um, because I don't think that or cheating or whatever you call the word infidelity, I don't consider that. If you want to pleasure yourself, whatever the
Hmm.
case is, if you know, just because we're born as sexual beings,
Hmm.
we're not going to be just like, oh, not to be like, it's impossible because
Hmm.
every human being on this planet is a sexual being.
Hmm.
So it's, you have to be, if you have to be intimate, if whatever the case is, you have to like kind of go along with it, I guess.
Hmm.
That's, and it's not to, and also not to feel guilty because you were, as I say, we're human beings, but you can't also limit yourself either.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's my take on it. Um, I don't know what else can I say.
No, no, no. You said it perfectly, perfectly.
Yeah.
Alicia, your thoughts on that?
Yes, I believe I'm okay with that. I totally believe it's not cheating, and
Hmm.
there might be a variety of reasons why they are taking care of themselves.
Hmm.
Especially health wise. Like I personally experienced that, and I was kind of fearing where the direction would lead. But
Hmm.
again, if taking care of yourself, I'm okay with that, and I don't believe it is cheating.
Gotcha, gotcha. And that's refreshing because, look, I mean, some guys is like if you want it twice a day, every day.
Hmm.
I mean, physically, I mean, how many women long term could keep that up? I said honeymoon phase or whatever, or without kids. Yeah, you might be able to keep that up for a while, but
Hmm.
if it gets to a point where she might be good with 5 times a week, you want it 20. I mean, what if that fills the void, is that a bad thing? And he's not stepping out and he's not bringing diseases into the home or other relationships or other
Hmm.
emotions or what have you. At least that's me. I know not everyone agrees with that, especially conservative people who don't believe in that, even though the Bible doesn't teach against it. But that's another story. But Craig, your thoughts on it? You see, you had your hand raised, so if you want to chime in on this one, and then we'll have Dave, and then we'll get into final thoughts and get out of here.
Well, yeah, I was just about to say, with a woman trying to keep up with doing it like 3, 4 times a day,
Hmm.
um, Google Bonnie Blue. She's just been arrested for doing it for over 1,000 times in a day.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah, my missus doesn't have a problem with if I wanted to watch that sort of thing,
Hmm.
she don't have a problem with it.
Hmm.
But I told her it doesn't do anything for me.
Hmm.
As you can see in the message, it
Hmm.
literally doesn't do nothing for me.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, with the video, it is possible to do it in a small house.
Hmm.
Been there, done that. Um,
You're
do,
braver than me, man. Salute to you. I'll give you one
do,
of your
do.
own.
No. When I was saying to you earlier, in the back of a church, yeah, every time they hit the high note, my ex had a perfect timing every time. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
um,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah, it's what can I say? I can't think of anything to say, but we don't really require it.
Mm.
Yeah, I have needs. She has needs. She has better control than me.
Mm.
But
But when you say, hang on, but before David goes to, when you say you have needs, what do you mean by that? I mean, if you have a
urges,
okay, and that leads to a physical reaction,
it does sometimes. But
and in that physical, let me finish my thought here, and in that physical reaction, you're saying that you will do something else, and that something else quells that physical
cuddling up,
reaction.
that sort of thing, yeah, it just helps.
Okay,
Yeah,
like I
I
said,
we don't need to get physical. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
we don't. I don't need to gratify myself. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
there's no need for it. I don't
mm-hmm,
require it. I'm just happy to be with her,
mm-hmm,
be next to her,
mm-hmm,
um, be able to put my hands on her.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, you don't need to get that sort of relation. As I said, she's got better control than me.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, um, what bloke don't have any control? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Paul might. He's got more experience than me, um, but I'm joking with you, Paul.
No problem. You good?
But yeah, I could tell you some stories that I've done over the years, even in my drinking days.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, I've done some really, really crazy crap in my years back in my teenage years, in my 20s. Um, but this side of sexless marriage doesn't mean you don't love her.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, um, doesn't mean that your other ass cheated on you. Doesn't mean that he's looking at other women. Doesn't mean that he's looking at corn. But you can still have a fucking fantastic marriage. Yeah, you can still have a fantastic relationship with your partner. You could love her. Yeah, as I said to you earlier, we shared a bath together. Yeah, we sit here cuddling up, watching movies. Right, we lay in a bed in our birthday suits. Yeah, we go to bed like that. But it doesn't mean we do anything.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll finish what I'm saying with that. Right.
gotcha. All right, David. We're gonna get into closing thoughts. I'll have you go first, and Craig, if you know, I mean, that was a nice wrap up. Is that a bow you want to put on? Or you're gonna have another final thought later on.
No, that's it.
Okay, let's turn to final thoughts. David, you can go next on this topic. And again, I really appreciate people being transparent and being open and being vulnerable in this. This is not always the easiest conversation to have for
As I
some
said, if you
some
want to know
people.
more stories, Paul, I could tell you some.
I'm sure you but I just appreciate, especially Mariana, Alicia. I really thank you guys for really chiming in. But David, you can give your final thought, and we'll go to the crew. And I keep it here. I know Peter loves to like show all my pimples and whatnot on, but I'm not going to do that. Just
Now,
just shoot from the hip there.
I'm just going to say this. This is one little type of topic that is what I would consider the grown folk conversation where it need to be had more often than usual because simple facts. You talk about sex within a marriage and seeing other podcasters who have braved this topic in a way whereby they'll point their wife on the spot, saying that, okay, you wanted to be monogamous, okay, fine. I leave all the other girls I used to play around with, and I choose you. We get married. All the time the supply dwindled down a little bit too much. But my boy is hungry for more. My boy want to have some. I gotta wait a week or two. Like, come on. If I decide to step out, it's a problem. But I don't think people fully comprehend. Yeah, there is a sex education misinformation going on in
Mm-hmm.
place. More reason why I'm saying when this situation I'm in is done, I'm not picking to choose anyone from the state anymore for the simple fact they don't have the deep rooted teaching that other ethnic group who prepare their daughter for. That being said, so I don't have, when I say I am beyond dead interest, I don't have the interest to deal with people who are not on the same thought path that I am. I had it because, like I tell you, I'm a old school, rugged individual. Sometimes I want to show my expression to my woman through the love language that I understand best. But if I'm deprived of these things, I go realize, you know what, I made a mistake. I should have chose better. I should have vetted better. This is why I thought to understand why my culture had that significant rule in place in case of. I get women body change over time due to childbearing, but not all women are the same. The same apply to all men are not the same. So I would give the advice to anybody young who are still single, not married, before you venture into the realm of marriage. I think this topic need to be discussed in detail in advance. Mr. Bennett tells about how me and a few other who came from Black Men Unfiltered Network, we would get on Mr. Bennett like, you the G now. You say you had a book, you wrote what you want, you expect what you desire. So you the standard bearer, and we get it now. But that is not being taught because when people get to the realm of marriage and he's not getting his supply or she's not getting his supply, God forbid you're a wealthy man, you baby around and she got the pool boy to do the mechanic. You cannot get mad. Welcome to Cougarville. And vice versa. So I think this is not something that you can just brush it off. Oh no, it's going to be a big deal because the younger generation gonna look at how you resolve this type of issue. And I'm thinking there's a lot of nuance in this topic. Maybe when we try to venture a little bit more and see what create a healthy balance in place, depend on individual, what kind of individual you will consider yourself to be. Then that way you can go into that particular lane and figure that thing out. But other than that, there are a lot of men who are going through that right now and they are looking for a way out or aka passport bro. I got two passports, I could care less. It's what it is. When I'm trying to make that move, I'm not just traveling, I'm relocating. That is my main goal, to relocate. Not the traveling thing. I ain't into that traveling. The travel time is in your early 20s, you can do that. You travel around the world and get the idea what kind of woman you're looking for. And you make that decision to pursue that type of woman you're looking for. When you're in your 30, your 40, your entering your 50, you don't got time to be bouncing around. You're not young anymore. And that's what it is. So whatever today's society in the year want to spew it, whatever nonsense, sprinkle, drip, drip, whatever you want to call it, I could care less about that. That is not my cup of tea anymore. 'Cause I realize that a high level of immature individual who are 30, 40, 50 that have no clue what they want. I don't need that.
Gotcha. You land the plane? You good?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I crash landed. I had to do it the right way possible.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right,
Definitely crash
Alicia.
landed.
All right, Alicia, your final thoughts?
So basically, sorry, 1 second.
No problem. You good? Or you want Marianne to go and then come back to you?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay.
A little late.
Mhm.
So basically, from what I said before, again, for me, a sexless marriage or relationship has more to do emotionally when something is not right.
Mhm.
That's where I feel then that's what makes me more either connected or not connected. Um, Emotionally, my partner has to be there for me, has to be there, put effort in, anything like that, and then that will make me want to do more, like, or not feel as though I'm being like pressured where I have too much going on in my head and I have too much going on outside. That's when I turn to more of like there's no sex in the marriage or relationship.
Mhm.
And that's basically like where I feel it's the most important in a marriage. In a marriage, I feel like again, I know that Craig was saying he's able to, him and his, I'm sorry, was it your wife or your partner?
Wife, I've
Wife.
got a question there. I've got a question there. Do you know if they're a keeper, yeah, make them wait 6 to 7 months before you even get them in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Easy enough. She made me wait for only 6, 7 months before we even did anything.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
I've
your
always
question
agreed.
is wife.
Okay. And it was interesting to hear your point of view on that you guys don't need sex, like that you're fine with your intimacy and other ways to show intimacy. Um, to me, I think that it's an important part of a relationship or marriage. And again, if you're meeting each other emotionally, then it should be no problem, and there really shouldn't be any questions as to either it's a sexless marriage or partnership or not. I just feel it all has to do with emotions and connections.
Awesome, awesome. Mariana, your closing thought?
Yeah, my final thoughts. I definitely agree what Alicia say. It's mostly emotional connection. Because it's that genuineness between uh two individuals to feel connected. If it's not with sex, you could be intimate because you have to have that connection emotionally, and you would definitely feel this is it was like meant like that soul connection, I will say. um it's crucial to be intimate or having that desire, sexual desire. um and it's unfortunate that some sexless marriage end up not getting anywhere, not intimacy or any sex, whatever the case is. But hopefully some people could open their eyes, or willing to give it a chance or whatever the case is. But sometimes whatever the case is, but is to be more coherent, and also more, if you want to be intimate and you don't want kids or your pets hearing what you're doing in your bedroom, that's a whole different story.
That's
Sorry. But that's why you need to have stronger walls or soundproof walls. But I will say, in a final note, it's important from the beginning, when children reach to puberty, they need to know the stages of sex education, because I know that when I was growing up, my mom didn't taught me anything.
mhm.
It was more like a barrier, like, don't do this. I don't want to have grandkids, all this stuff, like, very strict. Um, and I know that didn't help. That put more fear in me. So I will say, and it's more like, you have to know, the choices of life has consequences. So if you make a decision, you need to know what you're facing. And I remember my mom told me when I was very young, she said, you better not have, because otherwise you'd be kicked out of this house. And of course I say, oh, that's it. And obviously off limits. But there's unfortunately, it's a high rise of teenage pregnancy, in the Western world. So, but it's right now, I think it's more important to be intimate, and also you have to have that trust to have the emotional connection. So
Mm.
that's my final thought.
Awesome, awesome. I would say this. I brought this up earlier in the show. I
Mm-hmm.
used to think that sex was a barometer
Mm-hmm.
of a healthy relationship, especially if it's long term.
Mm-hmm.
Since that time, and this was a couple years ago, I really started to think about it. And the question I have is, do you kiss?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean kissing in a way that does not always lead to sex. Now,
Mm-hmm.
back when I was courting, my wife and I, we would kiss, like, because we weren't having sex, but
Mm-hmm.
we would be in, whether it be in the car, on the couch for hours, put music on, and we're just making out. the art of making out. I even ask married people today, if you've been married for 10 years plus, when was the last time you made out with your wife? Let's say if your wife is on her monthly flow and you don't necessarily want to do it then,
Mm-hmm.
but can you still be intimate? Can you still hug and caress and massage and kiss?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you were in the kitchen, she's doing the dishes, and you go by and you massage her rubber back and you go over, you may kiss her on the shoulder and then on the neck, and then you just give her a nice 2-3 second kiss? I
Mm-hmm.
think if you're doing that, I think everything else is taken care of. Even if you cannot for whatever reason be sexual.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lived long enough, I've been married long enough to go through all the phases where sex is affected. So we had 3 kids in 4 years. When we were married for almost 3 years before we had kids, and it was just on whatever, whenever, however, no limits.
Mm-hmm.
We had 3 kids in 4 years. That was a fact. That was certainly a major hit. Our sex life took a hit in that. Um, then my wife, when we're old enough, we're older. My wife went through menopause. That's a major, you
Mm-hmm.
know, killer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we had issues because what do you think I'm lifting all these weights and putting all this muscle on and stuff like that? I mean, I'm a viral dude. So I
Mm-hmm.
never was affected,
Mm-hmm.
and we had issues,
Mm-hmm.
but we were able to work out a deal because I still think, even though I'm totally for having both individuals being willing and open to do it, I do think that sex is a part of marriage. I think it's a responsibility
Mm-hmm.
in marriage. That doesn't mean you force someone to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but when you say I do, you are pledging to be, at least in most cases, to be faithful to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that faithfulness is to love and to please the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think sex is a responsibility. It's not just something cool we just do.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife and I had to kind of come to that understanding. And so what we did, we worked out a deal
Mm-hmm.
at these crossroads. So having the early on, there were no deals required. There was nothing necessary. When we had all the kids, we had to make a deal. When she went through menopause, we had to make a deal. I mean, just so many times we had to kind of revisit
Mm-hmm.
and work out something that works for both of us, where it doesn't feel forced, but at the same time, we recognize its importance to one another in certain ways, and we communicate and we come to a deal. Sometimes for us, it's planned,
Mm-hmm.
it's scheduled. That doesn't sound very romantic, but it works. Just like Craig's situation works for him, that situation works for us.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is going to be different in that. For some people, sex is still very important.
Mm-hmm.
And you have others where it's maybe not as much. So we have a perfect contrast between Craig and David on the show. I'm probably in the middle somewhere, but maybe leaning a little bit more towards David's side.
David's just mean.
But I'm maybe 65-70% on David's side still, even at my age, and I'm the oldest guy here.
Mm-hmm.
That's without a doubt.
So yeah, but I'm also the best. I'm also the best looking guy here. So you take that where you want it. But that being said, I think again that's where the communication comes in, and that's where you guys really have to again come to a mutual understanding of what how can you uh, cohabitate and how can you live in peace and harmony with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it may require just getting out the house. Sometimes your house can be a mood killer because
Mm-hmm.
you see how much it needs to be cleaned and this has to be done and that. Getting out of your house, you don't have to go down to Aruba, but just get out your house for a couple of days. My wife and I, we have no problem with just going into down to a hotel AC or whatever for like a day or two just to chill out, just to get away from everything.
Mhm.
I mean, you do those things that are required to keep things going. But at
Mhm.
the end of the day, still, you ask the question, do I still enjoy kissing my wife
Mhm.
at a random time?
Mhm.
We in the kitchen, she goes to the refrigerator, she brushes by me. She has a way of brushing by me sometimes. I'll be like, no, you better come here.
Mhm.
When you're able to do that, now you got something.
Mhm.
So again, salute to Craig for being able to have a marriage that is loving, that is caring, and that they're still intimate and they still love each other. And that's the to me that's the ultimate definition of ride or die. That for a lot of other weaker men who would have bailed out because their wives are sick or whatever, and they decide they can't live in that situation, salute to Craig for being the man that he is
I ain't
and
doing that again. I just hurt
and
myself again with that.
taking care of his wife. That is a man.
Mhm.
And so, so for him to be able to have that, and for anybody else on the panel who's still seeking that, who desires that, I hope you find it. The last thing I'll say is again, education is so important.
Mhm.
Ladies, understand you deserve sex and to be sexually satisfied and fulfilled. There's nothing shameful about your body. That God made your body to be sexual just as much as a man. Look it up, it's in the scriptures.
Mhm.
And so this whole idea of men dominating the conversation, no, you need to be part of that conversation as well. Your feelings matter in
Mhm.
this conversation just as much as a man does. And I
Mhm.
hate it when sexual conversations always go down to what the man wants. And that then the
Well, you got
needs
to
of the
talk about
woman or the
the
wife is
Islamic
not
side of
met.
things, dude.
Mhm.
Yeah. In the Islamic world, Islam world, the men are more dominant. Yeah, they control things. It's what they want, not what the woman wants. Personally, the women should have a right to have a say.
100%.
Mhm.
Back in the 60s or before the 60s or 50s, whatever it was, before they said, oh, let's burn our bras or whatever it is, we need our rights. Before then, they had no rights. Yeah?
Mhm.
Always understand that. He's about 100 years old. Um,
Absolutely.
oh, you agree
But
with it? Damn.
oh yeah. But again, but that should have been welcomed. But like I said earlier, when women started to flex, now again, I'm the most conservative guy here. I say sex only in marriage. I believe that. I mean, that's me. But even still, women should not be shamed
Mhm.
for wanting or desiring or having sexual desire and wanting to be pleased. So again, I think that again, I'm all for women's liberation and women's independence to have a seat at the table. Now
As
let's
you,
you and me, man and woman, now let's work out what works for us.
here's useless information for you. She's the dominant one in the relationship.
There you go. So Craig, so if you guys get started again, buddy, you better be ready. That's all I'm saying. When the engine gets revved up again, if you guys ever decide to get that,
Mate,
you
I'm
better hang
hiding
on.
in the cupboard.
You better stay start getting in shape now. Watch my videos on training and get in shape for certainly this season that you will certainly
Mate, if
that
she
that
gets
certainly
going,
we can
I'm
go
running.
into. Yeah. Okay. All right. But again, I want to appreciate everybody for being on here tonight. Again, make sure you hit the like button. Certainly, as you leave the show, consider becoming a subscriber to the Sparta HQ Network. And again, but certainly this week, I know for those of you, some of you are religious, some of you not religious or secular, whatever. However you decide to spend your holiday, happy Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy whatever you want to call it. But enjoy your families. Eat some good food, enjoy yourself, eat the cookies and cakes and everything. Enjoy yourself this week. Shout out
Mhm.
to our guy Peter. the Sparta himself, who allowed me the opportunity to host this show tonight and to bring this topic to bear in a respectful fashion. I appreciate everybody on this panel for bringing it up. Man, I'm rolling here. Let me get this out, right? For this wonderful panel who've been again so transparent tonight. I appreciate you guys for being a part of this conversation as well. And we look certainly forward to more content during the week. Certainly, I don't know what you guys are doing Thursday. You guys having a show Friday, David?
We do have a very interesting topic, and I'm just hoping there's no technical difficulty because I'm now narrowing down to what is causing the problem. But this topic by far is a very interesting topic. I want everybody who's a fan of OG cartoon like Thundercat and etc. out there, He-Man and so on and so forth, because we're having a topic whereby what is your favorite cartoon? We'll give it a second chance.
Gotcha.
And it got
Don't give too much of it away.
okay.
This is an OG show dealing with the old school comics, not anime per se, but the old G comics. So good on Friday. Sean, I don't know if you're still in the chat. Are you going to have a show tomorrow night on Thursday night? Straight Talk, Straight Understanding. Again, let us know if you're going to, or tomorrow. Let us know. I know it's Christmas Eve tomorrow, but certainly let us know if you're going to be doing anything there. If so, again, just tune in to the Sparta HQ Network for additional content. But again, we really appreciate you guys being with us tonight. Now, Craig, you can say what you want to say, and you'll be the last voice before we get on out of here.
I was going to say it's a shame that young Peter wasn't here. You know what I mean?
I don't know if we could have got through the show tonight if Peter was here. So I'm just saying. So he'll let him have the
young Peter wasn't here.
Oh, geez. I don't want to meet that. 40-year-old Peter is enough. I don't even want to meet the young Peter.
That was a joke, by the way. I know
got
Peter's going to give me turn me a new asshole. But
I got you. But again, we appreciate you guys. Again, enjoy your holiday. Again, however you guys choose to spend it. But we certainly appreciate you guys for being here tonight. So for all of us, take care. God bless. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Mm.